The afternoon sun cast its golden glow over the sprawling city, bustling with life and energy. The hum of traffic blended with the chatter of street vendors, creating a symphony of urban vitality. On a quieter street, a young black boy pedaled swiftly on his worn bicycle, the basket in front piled high with newspapers. Sweat glistened on his forehead as he maneuvered through the crowded sidewalks, nodding politely at familiar faces. At just 12 years old, Malik had become a fixture in the neighborhood, known for his hard work and quick smile. Malik's day was always filled with motion. His routine of delivering newspapers, running errands for local shopkeepers, or lending a hand wherever needed was more than just work. It was his way of contributing to his family's modest income. Though his clothes were simple and his sneakers scuffed from use, Malik carried himself with a quiet dignity. His eyes, full of determination, revealed dreams far larger than the streets he rode through each day. A few blocks away, in a posh townhouse surrounded by manicured gardens and luxury cars, another world existed. Inside, the billionaire's family was preparing for an afternoon on their private yacht. The patriarch, a sharp-suited figure with a commanding presence, issued instructions to their staff while his wife, dressed elegantly in designer attire, fussed over last-minute details. Their young son, about Malik's age, lounged on the plush sofa, scrolling through his tablet with little regard for the activity around him. Their lives seemed worlds apart from Malik's, a life of opulence and privilege, where even the smallest inconveniences were smoothed away by wealth. Yet, as the family left their home and stepped into their sleek, chauffeured car, the threads of their lives were unknowingly set to cross. A few streets over, Malik skidded to a stop outside a bustling corner store. As he adjusted the newspapers in his basket, a gust of wind scattered a handful of sheets onto the pavement. At the same moment, the billionaire's car slowed to a halt at the intersection nearby. The wife stepped out, distractedly checking her purse, and in her hurry dropped a stack of papers. Malik, quick to notice, instinctively sprang into action. "Ma'am, you dropped these," he called out, bending to retrieve her belongings and hand them back. His tone was polite, his smile genuine. Startled, the woman glanced at Malik. Her perfectly manicured fingers hesitated as she took the items from him, offering a quick thank you. In her world, interactions like these were fleeting and often transactional. But something about Malik's earnestness made her pause for a moment longer, studying his face. "What's your name?" she asked. "Malik, ma'am," he replied, already hopping back onto his bike. He tipped his head respectfully before pedaling off, disappearing into the crowd before she could say more. The woman returned to the car, thoughtful. Malik's gesture had been small but sincere, and it lingered in her mind. Her husband, engrossed in a call, barely noticed her pause as they drove away toward the marina. For Malik, the encounter was soon forgotten, buried under the demands of his busy day. Yet, that brief connection, simple, almost accidental, was the first stitch in a tapestry of events that would intertwine their lives in ways neither could have imagined. The contrast between their worlds couldn't have been starker. Malik returned to his family that evening, tired but content, sharing stories of his day over a modest meal. The billionaire's family, on the other hand, dined lavishly aboard their yacht, their conversation revolving around business deals and high society events. But fate, as it often does, had plans of its own. That fleeting moment on the street, unremarkable to most, had planted a seed. It would grow into a story of kindness, resilience, and transformation that would bridge the divide between their lives, forever changing them both. In a small, vibrant neighborhood bustling with life, Malik lived with his grandmother in a modest home that radiated warmth despite its age. His grandmother, a wise and resilient woman, had raised him with values that became his guiding stars: kindness, integrity, and perseverance. Malik admired her greatly, often watching her tirelessly work to stretch every dollar, all while ensuring he felt loved and supported. Their neighborhood, though economically disadvantaged, was alive with camaraderie. Neighbors shared meals, helped with repairs, and leaned on one another during tough times. Malik was a cornerstone of this community, always willing to lend a hand. Whether running errands for elderly neighbors or tutoring younger kids, he embodied the spirit of generosity his grandmother had instilled in him. Despite the daily struggles they faced, Malik exuded optimism. His dreams stretched far beyond the cracked sidewalks of his neighborhood. He aspired to one day uplift his community by becoming an entrepreneur or engineer, someone who could create opportunities for others. For now, though, he focused on balancing school, part-time jobs, and his passion for learning. Resourceful and intelligent, Malik often found creative ways to solve problems, his mind always buzzing with ideas. Challenges were a constant, but they never defined him. Financial constraints meant there was little room for luxuries, and he had learned to make do with what they had. At school and in the city, Malik occasionally encountered prejudice, subtle and overt, but his grandmother's wisdom echoed in his mind. They don't define your worth. Your actions do. Those words fortified him, helping him rise above the negativity. Meanwhile, across the city, the billionaire's family lived in a sprawling estate, their lives steeped in luxury. The patriarch, a self-made mogul, prided himself on his relentless work ethic, which had propelled him from humble beginnings to immense wealth. However, his success had come at a cost. His disconnection from the everyday world he once knew. The demands of his empire often left him detached from the simpler joys of life. His wife, while supportive, often felt like an anchor trying to steady a ship that rarely docked. She managed the household and their young son, bridging the gap between her husband's relentless pursuits and the emotional needs of their child. Their son, about Malik's age, lived a life most could only dream of: private tutors, expensive toys, and exclusive trips. Yet his world was insular. Sheltered by wealth, he longed for genuine connections and experiences outside the confines of privilege. Despite his material comfort, he often felt isolated, craving a sense of belonging and authenticity. The family's interactions were cordial but lacked depth, with their busy schedules leaving little time for shared moments. Beneath the surface, they grappled with a quiet disconnect that no amount of money could resolve. Unbeknownst to them, these two seemingly opposite lives were on a collision course. Malik's unwavering kindness and the billionaire family's unspoken yearning for meaning would soon intertwine, sparking a chain of events that would challenge perceptions, bridge divides, and transform both their worlds forever. The sun glistened on the water, casting a serene glow around the marina, where the billionaire's sleek yacht was docked. The family had embarked on a leisurely afternoon outing, a rare moment away from the whirlwind of high-profile events and business meetings. For once, the family seemed united, with the billionaire's young son, Ethan, excitedly exploring every nook of the luxurious vessel. However, beneath the calm surface of the day, an unexpected crisis was brewing. Out of sight, a mechanical issue in the yacht's engine room began to escalate. Smoke, quietly seeped into the lower decks, unnoticed at first, until an acrid smell reached the main cabin. Panic set in as the crew realized the gravity of the situation. The smoke thickened, alarms blared, and the peaceful outing transformed into chaos. Adding to the mayhem, a sudden security breach occurred. Perhaps a group of opportunists saw the unfolding commotion as a chance to approach unnoticed. In the chaos, Ethan, the young and curious boy, was separated from his parents. Disoriented by the smoke and noise, he wandered toward the edge of the dock, his small frame trembling with fear. Nearby, Malik, the hard-working black teen, had been spending his afternoon fishing by the docks, trying to catch dinner for his grandmother. The sound of alarms and muffled screams caught his attention. Dropping his fishing rod, he sprinted toward the source of the commotion. He spotted the yacht engulfed in smoke, and, moments later, saw Ethan standing dangerously close to the edge of the dock, tears streaming down his face. Without hesitation, Malik called out to Ethan, his voice steady and reassuring despite the chaos around them. "Hey, it's okay. I'm here to help," he said, approaching cautiously. Ethan looked at him, his eyes wide with fear, and then took an instinctive step back, almost toppling into the water. Malik moved swiftly, grabbing Ethan's hand just in time and pulling him to safety. "We need to get out of here," he said firmly, crouching to meet the boy's eye level. Ethan nodded, clinging to him for guidance. The path to safety was anything but straightforward. Smoke billowed around them, and the sound of shouting and approaching footsteps hinted at further danger. Malik acted quickly, using his knowledge of the area to find a hidden pathway away from the docks. He led Ethan through narrow alleyways, shielding him from potential harm. At one point, they encountered one of the opportunists blocking their path. Malik remained calm, positioning Ethan behind him. Thinking quickly, he used his street smarts to bluff his way past, claiming authorities were already closing in. The distraction worked, and they slipped away unnoticed. As they reached a safe distance, Ethan collapsed into Malik's arms, his sobs finally breaking through the adrenaline-filled silence. Malik knelt, holding the boy tightly. "You're safe now," he assured him. "Your family's going to find you soon." For a moment, Ethan clung to Malik like he was a lifeline, a connection forged in the heat of danger. When they emerged from the maze of alleyways, the billionaire and his wife were frantically searching for their son, their faces etched with fear. Seeing Ethan, the mother let out a cry of relief, running to embrace him. Malik stepped back, his task seemingly complete, but Ethan wouldn't let go of his hand. "This boy saved me," Ethan exclaimed, his voice filled with admiration and gratitude. The billionaire and his wife turned to Malik, their expressions a mix of astonishment and gratitude. Malik, modest as ever, simply nodded, brushing off their thanks with a quiet, "I just did what anyone would do." But as the family held each other tightly, a realization began to dawn on them. This was no ordinary boy. This was someone whose courage and selflessness had just changed their lives. Unbeknownst to Malik, his heroism had set the stage for a transformation that would forever alter his path and theirs. As the smoke cleared and the chaos subsided, the billionaire's family found themselves huddled on the dock, clutching Ethan tightly. Relief swept over them like a wave, and for a moment, everything else faded away. But amidst their gratitude, a key question loomed. Who had saved their son? Eyewitnesses quickly filled in the gaps. Several bystanders approached the family, recounting the scene of Malik's bravery. Some had captured the rescue on their phones, their recordings highlighting the young boy's calm demeanor and quick thinking. Ethan, still holding Malik's hand, beamed as he told his parents, "He saved me." He didn't even think twice. The billionaire, initially stunned, turned to Malik with genuine gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "You saved my son's life." Malik, standing with quiet humility, simply shrugged. "I just did what anyone should do," he replied, his gaze steady but unassuming. In the hours that followed, the family learned more about Malik. They discovered he lived in a modest neighborhood and worked tirelessly to support his family. Despite his youth, Malik had a maturity and sense of responsibility far beyond his years. He was a boy who didn't seek recognition or reward, but simply believed in doing what was right. As they pieced together the events of the day, another story began to emerge. The mechanical failure on the yacht wasn't a random accident. It had been orchestrated. Security footage revealed the involvement of a disgruntled former employee of the Billionaire. This individual, once a trusted member of the Billionaire's inner circle, had acted out of a sense of betrayal, feeling wronged by what they saw as unjust treatment. The antagonist, though culpable, was not painted as a one-dimensional villain. They had their reasons, rooted in years of feeling overlooked and undervalued. "I gave everything to this company," they later confessed during an investigation. "But when it came time for recognition, I was just another cog in the machine." The billionaire, hearing this, was forced to confront his own past decisions. He realized that in his pursuit of success he might have inadvertently created a culture where some felt expendable. The incident became a mirror, reflecting the unintended consequences of his actions. Malik's selflessness and the antagonist's motivations set the stage for a profound moment of reflection. The billionaire, humbled, decided that this day wouldn't just be remembered for a narrow escape, but as a turning point, an opportunity to make amends, not just for his family, but for everyone affected by his legacy. And at the center of it all was Malik, the unassuming hero whose actions had changed everything. The aftermath of the dramatic rescue lingered in the air as the billionaire, his wife, and their son Ethan met with Malik and his family the following day. Grateful and determined to show their appreciation, the billionaire began by offering a significant monetary reward. "Please, take this," he said, handing over an envelope. "It's the least we can do for saving Ethan's life." Malik, however, shook his head firmly. "Thank you, sir, but I can't accept this. I didn't help Ethan for money. I just did what felt right." The billionaire was taken aback. In a world where material wealth often spoke louder than actions, Malik's refusal was a rare and humbling moment. "Then what can I do to thank you?" he asked earnestly. Malik hesitated, glancing at his mother. "If you want to help," he said slowly, "there are kids like me in my neighborhood who dream big but don't have the means to make those dreams real. Maybe you could help them." This response struck a chord. After consulting with his wife, the billionaire proposed a more meaningful gesture. He announced plans to establish a scholarship fund dedicated to Malik and others in his community. "We'll call it the Malik Scholars Program," he said. "This will cover education costs for kids who show the same courage and integrity you did." The gesture didn't stop there. Recognizing the systemic barriers that Malik and others faced, the billionaire also committed to investing in the local community. He pledged to fund a youth center that would provide mentorship, after-school programs, and resources for aspiring students, athletes, and entrepreneurs. "This isn't just about scholarships," the billionaire explained. "It's about creating a space where young people like you can thrive." Malik's eyes lit up, and his mother wiped away a tear. "This could change so many lives," she whispered. "Thank you." For the billionaire and his family, the event became a turning point. They began reassessing their priorities, realizing that their wealth could create lasting change. The family shifted their focus from luxurious pursuits to philanthropic efforts. They spent more time together, attending community events, and meeting those their contributions were helping. Ethan, inspired by Malik's bravery, insisted on visiting the community center regularly, volunteering alongside his parents. He and Malik forged a genuine friendship, built on mutual respect and shared values. Malik, now supported by the scholarship and resources, pursued his education with renewed determination. However, he didn't allow his success to separate him from his roots. Instead, he used his platform to inspire others in his community, mentoring younger kids and helping them dream bigger. The billionaire, too, found personal growth in the experience. He realized that true wealth lay in the connections and opportunities one creates for others, a lesson he vowed to carry forward. Together, their lives intertwined, proving that one act of kindness could ripple into a wave of transformation. The ripple effects of that single act of courage were felt far and wide. What began as a chance encounter and a moment of heroism transformed into a movement for lasting change, bridging gaps that once seemed insurmountable. The billionaire's company embraced its newfound responsibility, launching wide-scale initiatives to address the very inequalities Malik's story had highlighted. From mentorship programs to equitable hiring practices, the business began to use its power to uplift marginalized communities. "It's not just about charity," the billionaire remarked during a press conference. "It's about creating opportunities and ensuring that no one is overlooked or left behind." Even the antagonist, the disgruntled former employee or rival, saw their grievances addressed. The billionaire didn't merely seek retribution, but worked to understand the systemic failures that fueled such animosities. This approach led to meaningful changes in company policies, ensuring better worker protections and more transparent practices. Malik's neighborhood became a beacon of hope. The billionaire's investment in the community was more than financial. It was deeply personal. New facilities sprang up, a modernized community center with state-of-the-art learning tools, mentorship programs, and athletic facilities. Scholarships from the Malik Scholars Program began to flow, allowing children to dream big without the weight of financial barriers holding them back. Families who once struggled to see a path forward now spoke of college applications, entrepreneurial ventures, and creative pursuits. The change was tangible, not just in infrastructure but in the spirit of the people. The culmination of this transformation came with the grand opening of the community center. Malik, now a symbol of hope and resilience, stood beside the billionaire's family on the stage. Ethan, the billionaire's son, had insisted on being there, eager to celebrate the friend who had saved him. As the crowd gathered, Malik addressed them with heartfelt words. "This center isn't just a building. It's proof that no matter where we come from, we can achieve greatness when we stand together." The billionaire, taking the microphone, added, "True wealth isn't measured by what we have, but by what we give, and the lives we touch along the way." The event ended with cheers, laughter, and a sense of unity. Malik and Ethan played a friendly game of basketball with local kids while their families mingled. The scene was a powerful image of what could be achieved when barriers were broken and humanity prevailed over prejudice. From that day forward, Malik's story was told as a reminder. Even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to rewrite destinies.